Hey everybody, it's Dan and Angela.
Hi everyone.
Hi, and we just wanted to welcome you to our YouTube page, Life After Religion, and we just want to remind you to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It just gives us more exposure and helps us get out there a little bit more. But today we wanted to talk about something very important, very, very important to me, to Angela. And what we want to talk about today is mind control. I know the witnesses talk about it all the time and all that sort of thing, but I want to look at it from a little bit different perspective today. And I want to say three things right from the beginning. You are not the only one who's been brainwashed. I'm not the only one. Angela's not the only one. Everybody has been brainwashed. Everybody. It's happening every day. It's happening all the time. And it's happening everywhere. And it can happen again. So I just want to say that again. It's not only happening to you. We gotta move out of the victim part of this mind control. You know, as I talk to a lot of people, I know a lot of people want to tell me the story of how bad this cult was. You know, I was a Jehovah's Witness and it was really bad, and you know, I lost 40 years of my life. I know I lost 40 years of my life. How many years of your life did you lose?
I don't know, because I was in two different cults. It was a lot, you know, a good bit of it, most of it.
Yes,
really.
So like Angela just said, she was in two different ones. So it can happen again. So what we want to talk about today is the nature of the cult, the progressive stages that they take you through to bring you in. And it doesn't just stop with religion. This is politics, this is investments, this is buying a car. It doesn't matter what it is. You need to be able to see these things. And most of you already do. Most of you already know this information. But I want to go over it because what will happen is the two things that will set you back to zero, back to ground zero, is getting into another cult, it happening again, and being a victim. Being a victim can't move. It freezes them in one place. So a victim, what they want to do is they can't wait for the next person to tell their story. Now, I want to say this too, that there's a healthy part of telling your story. There's 12 steps where you go in and tell your story, you recall your story, and then you forgive all the people that offended you.
And you hear everybody else's stories too, which helps you realize you're not the only one. It's so helpful.
Yes.
Helped me a lot.
Yes. Really. And so that's a great point. And so you go into these places, but the problem is when the story becomes everything, when you're competing with your story, when you walk into a room and the very first thing that comes out of your mind or that's inside your mind is that I can't wait to tell everybody how bad it was. And it was horrible. And those guys are, you know, and it goes on and on like this, right?
And it's worse than everyone else's.
Yeah.
It's always the worst.
Yeah, and what we found from visiting some people is they never get unstuck. They never tap into really who they really are because they stay in this, pulling this long train of being a victim. I was done wrong. I lost my life. And me and Angela both believe that you can get back what the locusts have eaten. We believe that the parts of your life that's been totally destroyed and mangled by all the misinformation, they call them locusts, you know, that come in and eat all the plants. Well, we believe that could be the same with your religious ideals, you know, that have consumed your life. You gave all your time to Jehovah magazines. Well, the Bible says, I'll give you back what the locusts have eaten. And so we really believe that, and we've both experienced that in our life. We've gotten back what we've lost and even more.
Right.
So that's why we wanted to talk about it, and we wanted to say, you are not the only one.
Amen.
We have visited. I'm 63. I've been out of the witnesses 23, 24 years. I don't know. And what I've found is those who got unstuck and those who have stayed stuck. And I've also visited a lot of religions, you know, lots of them, lots of Christian religions, lots of all sorts of religions, fundamentalist religions of all sorts, spiritual groups. And I've started to see a pattern in them, right? And here's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the pattern that all of these have. They basically have three. I'll just go over the three patterns. The first one is, you know, the introduction. It's the friendly meeting, you know what I mean? Where they come up and say, hi, what's your name, right? And you say, I'm Dan, and I'm Angela. And so, you know, a really good salesman or a really good person that wants to make a good impression will remember your name. They'll say, how you doing, Mr. Clark, Dan? How you doing, Angela? Because people love to hear their name, right? And so you go, wow, this is really cool. Let me get you some coffee. Let me get you some water. Oh, my wife made these cookies for you, just for you guys. Enjoy those. And that's all good. It's not all bad, right? Because you want to make your best impression when you're out there selling what it is ever you're selling. And what we were sold was religion. What we were sold was paradise earth, paradise tomorrow, right? So that brings me to the second phase of the sales deal, right? So they get to know your name. And then what they have to have is a problem and a solution, right? And so the problem is always going to be the world, right? There's earthquakes and food shortages and wars, and it goes on and on. Every day a crisis comes, and as we know, the witnesses will make a big deal about it and tell you, boy, you're in the right place at the right time to get out of there, to get salvation, and salvation is right around the corner. So the next thing they do, the phase 2 after this intro and stuff, is to tell you their big promise, and all of them have it. The Mormons have it, the Christians have it, everybody has it.
The car salesman has it, right? It's like why everything's wonderful about this car and this dealership and this deal, and they got every kind of thing. It's in everything, guys. It's even the
everywhere.
job. The people that hire you even will sell you to work there, and sometimes
got great benefits. We get everything,
and we're such a family here, and we've been a family a long time. And of course, you get in there, and it's just not like that at all, right? It's all been a trick because they really wanted you.
They really needed to sell a car that month.
Yeah, whatever, right?
We used to work for dealerships. So basically, they have to have a big promise. And like Angela said, it's the car. I was even thinking of the investment, right? The guy that tells you, look, so-and-so put in $10,000 and made $100,000 in 6 months. You go, oh, my God. Oh, yeah. And so-and-so, Johnny, he made so-and-so. And so they start telling you the story, right? They start telling you the story, and they get you excited, right? And they've got to get you to believe it, because in the beginning of the process, you don't believe it. You say, oh, that's BS. Nobody can make that kind of money. But as they continue to talk, as they continue to say, Mr. Clark, Mrs. Clark, I don't want to see in this financial situation, I want you to blah, blah, you start to open up a little bit, right? You start opening up this here to allow that information in. It gets real exciting, right? And so then the third phase, so this is it. It's just the 3. It's the intro, it's the big promise, and then it's the convincing you. It's the what did I have down here? Convince you. Yeah. It's the part where they're selling you the story, right? So how did they do that? How did we get sold the story? How did they get such easy access to religion? How do they program people so quickly? I'm just going to show you right here. This is just a Bible. It's just any old Bible.
That's what kind of it is, Dan?
Oh, that's a Mormon
Bible.
Mormon Bible. That's a Mormon Bible.
Yeah, they got the brown Bible.
And the witnesses got the gray Bible.
One used to be the black. I tried to find the black, guys. I don't want to trigger you today. Yeah. The old black one.
Yeah, and then Christianity's got the King James, the Message
black.
Bible. Lord knows. What's the other one? The NTW Bible.
Oh, yeah, the New World Translation.
Yeah, there's every version, modern, old, and so I call the Bible today, the way religions have used it, as a magic wand. It's what gets in here, because the first thing they tell you about the Bible is all the things about it. It's holy. It was written by God's own hand. It's unequivocally the Word of God. All Scripture is inspired, beneficial for teaching, reproof. You guys know that story. Go ahead.
And it's got the 3 something. Let's see. Anyway, I forgot what I was going to say about it. But anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. God, I feel stupid.
That's okay. So every religion has a Bible, and they pull out certain scriptures. And we know witnesses, I think Sharon, one time we interviewed her, she said the witnesses use like 147 scriptures over and over and over and over. I know they use more than that overall, but there's a main tapestry to their message of paradise. Yeah, God said we were going to live in a paradise earth, the wicked are going to be destroyed. And so that's the tapestry. I think it's like 140 some or more.
Yeah, and every religion's got its 3, it's 4 basic, things that they use to hook you. I'm going to call it hooking you.
Yes.
And because it's what it is. It's like what they know you want to hear. It's been planned out. Trust me, it's been planned out. They know how to hook people. It's the greatest salesman. They know how to do their job.
Yeah, and I want to say, depending on who you meet first, if you meet a Mormon, and you don't know really much about the Bible, it'll sound pretty inviting. It really will.
Yeah.
They've got their tapestry set up, just like the witnesses got theirs set up. They're going to take you through a set of scriptures, right?
Right.
A few scriptures that we use when we go door to door. The Mormons are going to do that. The
Yes,
Catholics,
absolutely.
Christians, all you have to do is believe, and you're going to be in heaven. And they all have their scripts, if you will, okay?
And then they have their hierarchy that makes you feel safe and makes you feel like they've got something going on here because they've got a leader who you sense has a lot of power and authority, and they dress the part, they wear the black suits, they wear the whatever they're supposed to be wearing that makes you feel like they're the authority, and they stand like the authority, and they kind of talk with some authority, and they have all the right words.
Depending on what group you go into, they have robes. The Catholics wear these big robes.
Really
Episcopalian walk out with these big robes and big things around their waist.
Right. And even in my church that I was growing up in, the Worldwide Church of God, I was in Pasadena, California, which was the headquarters there, and they had a thing called the Ambassador College, and they told all the men they are to wear white shirts and either black suits or very dark navy blue suits because it represented authority. And that's why we were to wear that, because we're ambassadors of God, Jesus, you guys would say Jehovah, and so we had to dress the part. So it's intimidating. It's meant to intimidate, truthfully.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Angela's right. So the first stage is the script, right? That's the ideal that they want to sell you on, right? And so, they invite you to the churches, and this is the same. This is what I want you to know. It's not going to end after the Jehovah's Witnesses. You're going to be invited into something else. And I want to say this, too, about all of the people that are selling. The witnesses, the Mormons, most of them, I believe, mean well. I really believe they mean well, right? They've come to believe this thing. The Jehovah's Witnesses really believe what they're preaching.
I think they typically start out that way.
Believe what they're preaching. They'll tell you they love their deal, even though they've been lied to, even though false prophecies have went by. They're still out there. They're still out there with carts and doing all this stuff. So I think their intentions are good, even though the whole concept is wrong. They don't see the big picture. They just see what Watchtower tells them to see. But anyway, I think they're well-meaning for the most part, okay? And so what I want to say is so they're delivering the script. They're coming to the door with the script. We don't have to be in this world. It's going to be a paradise. We're going to fountain of youth. Yeah, the fountain of youth. We're gonna build houses and have occupancy. All the wicked are going to be gone. It's going to be good, and good.
Depends on the religion. You're going to have wives when you get to heaven. You're going to have everything you want. Every religion has their little promise that is supposed to make you say, oh, yeah, I want to be a part of that. I mean, when you're going through a hard time, especially in like a COVID time or something like that, what do you want? You want to feel safe. You want to feel like you have a family. You want to feel like you got a team. You got a safety net. The Mormons feel like they could go and get food whenever they want because they've got these pantries, these places you can go get food. They're supposed to be storing lots of it so each of the members have food, so we could always go to the members. And there's a safety feeling in a group, in a tribe. And so they want you to be in these tribes. It's part of the hook. It really is.
That's right. So, you got the JWs, you got the Mormons, you've got the Nazarenes, you got the Seventh-day Adventists, Lutherans,
Jewish,
Messianic,
Muslim,
Catholic. It goes on and on. And they all have a tapestry. Hindu, they all have a specialty that they want to bring out. But here's where I think it gets dangerous. Where it gets dangerous is the next element. So the first element is delivering the script. The next element is directing you to the guides, the ones that are way on top, like Angela said, the elders, like the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now we're going to introduce you to the mediums, the governing body, those who hear Jesus' voice and take the spiritual food and put it in the magazines and give it to you at the proper time. These are sacred, holy, God-ordained men that hand-picked by Jehovah, okay? It doesn't end there. If you go to the Mormons, right, and you go into their meetings, they're going to introduce you to the prophets. Now it's all prophets. And I've been in there. I've been into some of their meetings. And I'm not saying it's all wrong or whatever. If you choose to be a Mormon, then go be a Mormon. You choose to be whatever, go be it. But I just want to say, when you go in there, that's going to be their philosophy. That's going to be their ideal, that, God has always had a prophet. God would never leave us without a prophet. Here's the testimony of a prophet. And so they'll take you through their line item by line item Bible, their Bible, with their scriptures, and they'll show you where it talks about covenants and doctrines and all these things to convince you that they have the truth, that they have the prophets, that they have the guides. So phase 2 is introducing you to those. You know, we were introduced after we heard all this good stuff and the message and, you know, the end's going to be tomorrow and paradise earth and I'm going to live forever and be with my wife forever and it's going to be wonderful. The same thing is happening everywhere. The same promises, the same things are happening everywhere. And so, like I said, the Mormons have the prophets, the Catholic has the Pope, the spiritual groups have their gurus that hear better than you. And you know, maybe at one...
That's the point right there, Dan. It's that they hear better than you. See, have we not all been trained as children that there's always somebody in different religions, and we see them all, that have some high person in each of them who knows better than each of those groups of people? They're the head person. And Mary Baker Eddy and what's the science, whatever, Christian Science, and who's the Science of Mind, Dan? Ernest Holmes. And we've got...
the founders, yeah.
All the founders, yeah. And so we all have this sense that we're always lesser than... We've been trained since childhood to believe that we're lesser than these head-ups of these different organizations, and whichever one we choose, we know absolutely that they've got it and we don't. And that's a problem, I think, because we're trained to believe that from the very youngest age. We see it everywhere. We see it in school. We see it in government. There isn't anywhere we go that we don't see that hierarchy of way of being, so that we always end up feeling like we're just kind of not as good as everyone else. We're lesser, and we're told that even in our religions, like in Jehovah's Witnesses, that you're good for nothing slaves, and you're the slave class. That's crazy thinking. Oh my God, those words alone are like nutty. And but that's true. That's what we're told. And then that they're the what do they call them? The elite class,
yeah, leadership.
The leadership, the elders, the governing body, whatever you want to call it. And we always feel like we're lesser.
Yep.
Interesting.
So you see the progression of the indoctrination. Again, the meeting, you know, hi Dan, you know, the second phase of it's the message, you know, the special message that we want to give you, the hope. And then the third is introducing you to the leadership, those who are really in charge, those that are here and better than we are. And it kind of ends there for most of them, you know. And then, but I want to say with the witnesses, okay, so they've kind of got us now, right? They've got the hook on us with the paradise. God, we want to be in paradise. And then they've got their leadership now because they reiterate it. We used to go to 5 meetings a week. And so it was always the governing body, you know, paradise, earth, death if you leave. It was the same thing. It was like a triangle. It was a little bit on paradise, a lot on governing body, and a lot on death if you leave.
And by the way, that's across the board about the same, too. I know you guys think that in Jehovah's Witnesses you're the ones who have it the worst, but there are other ones just the same. Like right now, I'm in a situation where I'm cut off from even a very small cult who says you don't talk to Angela, you don't have anything to do with her. She's committed the unpardonable sin. She's committed blasphemy. You know, the children can't talk to her. It's the same exact identical. It's the same in lots of religions. Trust me, it is that you will be put out, marked, shunned. It's not just Jehovah's Witnesses. I think they're one of the worst, but mine's pretty bad. The second one, cult I was in, is pretty dang bad. It's just as bad.
Yeah,
so
it is.
We're not the only ones.
And it's horrible, and it's horrible to see. But it's good to see that this is happening everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just us, so we don't have to be victims.
But it's one of the tactics.
It's one of the tactics.
You know, I wanted to tell you, Daniel, I keep thinking about this. I have to tell this story. So I got out of my second cult, and I had just met Dan, and we were just dating, and we were going to different churches. So I decided I want to go to a Christian church this one week. I'd never been to it before. Dan goes with me, and that man just seemed like he had it all going on, and he was enlightened, or, you know, he was connected with God in a deep way, and he knew the scriptures, and I was just so enamored by this guy, you know. And so I go up, and after church, I'm up on the podium, just not podium, but at the stage, asking him all these questions, and, you know, like he's the next person I can make my leader. And the next person I can trust for my spiritual, whatever I need.
It has all the answers.
Has all the answers, right. My spiritual leader. Got to have it, right? Because I don't have it. Right? So Dan, we get out of there, and Dan's like, Angela, you're doing it again. I'm like, what? He goes, you're trying to find another man to fill the shoes for you, to be your the one you follow, the one that
the chosen one, the anointed one, the enlightened one,
someone to lead me, right? Instead of God, you're going straight to man instead of to God. And you're doing it again, because he was very clear that that's what we were doing at that time. He was very crystal clear about that, and I thought about it. I was first offended, and then I thought, oh my God, you're right. I am running to man again. And used to be, I remember back in the day when I'd have problems, and I'd call my friends. First thing I did. And I remember one day I felt like God was telling me, why do you always just call your friends? You always call people, man, woman, whatever, for advice. You don't ever come to me. And I thought, oh my God, the Lord's right. If that's God talking to me, and I think it is, that I do that. And so anyway, for whatever that's worth, it's interesting that we're so programmed that we don't have it, and then we've got to have some leader. So we jump from place to place.
We can't
cult
be in
to
the
cult.
mystery.
No.
Yeah, we can't.
Yes,
yeah,
the
we
mystery.
can't be in the mystery. We gotta have all the answers, and we gotta have it now, because that's where we came out of, right? Witnesses had all the answers. The Mormons have all the answers. The Catholic have all the answers.
Yes. What about
Christianity has all the answers?
What if we were? Dan said to me one time, Angela, can you just be in the mystery instead of having to know everything so perfectly in a nice, neat little box? Because I'm used to if this religion isn't it, then I've got to find another one that has all the answers, and a different man that's a man of God. Surely there's somewhere. And no, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, we went through so many, and we thought we found it each time, and finally we just thought, oh my gosh! And we had this one wonderful man of God out of Florida, Naples, Florida, that said to us, you may not find it there in Denver, and we're like, yes, of course we will. It's one of the biggest days. Of course we're going to find our family.
The truth.
But we never did, and we finally said, okay, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We have family everywhere. They're in all the different churches. There's just sprinkled here and they're sprinkled there, and they're special. But we did not find the right family, and it's okay. I mean, we're in the family of God. It's okay. But it was an adjustment, I have to say, to not just feel like you have to be in some man-led something that has another way to look at everything, when you have your own. Anyway, whatever that's worth.
Yeah, that's
but
really
Dan
good.
said you got to be okay to be in the mystery, and it's like being on that tandem bike where someone's leading you, and you don't have any choice in the matter. You're just going wherever they are guiding you on that bicycle. They have the handlebars, you don't. You're in the back, and just being okay with that journey of flowing with where you're going. Not that you're aimless or anything like that, but you're not scared you don't have to know where you're going.
You're not running to get the next answer. You just believe in everything somebody tells you now.
Yes.
Now you're going to question. Now you're going to think. Now you're going to take into consideration.
Yes.
It's not going to be, there it is, that's it.
You don't have to have all the answers all in a nice, neat little package.
Right.
It's okay to be in the mystery. In other words, I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I do feel like I know about that, and I do. But no, I'm not sure, sir. But I'm going to put that on the I don't know place, and it's okay. You don't have to know everything.
And I did that for a long time as I traveled through different spirituality, religions, and different things. I said, now I know. And then I had to say, oh God, I don't know, and I had to retract. So now I just, will be more observation, more reflection, more considering, and all that sort of thing. And it makes me better. So I just want to talk about the last element. So now they've got the hook in their message that you love. They've got the infrastructure, the governing body, another hook, and they've got all this in there. Now is the programming about, leaving. If you leave, you'll die. If you leave, you won't get the promise. If you pull out of the investment right now, you'll lose your investment, because that's what investment people do, right? You put your money in, and they say it's a great investment. You put your money in, and you see it starting to go down. They say, hey, if you pull it now, you'll lose it. And then if you lose it, pretty much they say, okay, go away and on with the next. But the witnesses don't do that. This is where it becomes very dangerous and very much Jim Jones and very much cultic, is the death threats. And I think a person is pretty nuts, like Stephen Lett. I think he's nuts in the fact that he would say, you better listen to me like your life depends on it, because it does. Or you better listen to us, which is governing body, like your life depends on it, because it does. Because they've lied, and they continue to lie. They continue to false prophesy. They continue to spread fear. But for a man to lie and not admit to you that he's lying and say, you better listen to us like your life depends on it, this is moving into Jim Jones territory. I'm going to tell you, it is. Or how about Tony Morris? I know I talk about it in all these videos, but when that man lit that that match, that is my heart, okay? That's a heart. Heart, they call it a light. It's like a candle, right? A candle in the wind. You know, when, who is it? Elton John sung that song about that queen that died. He was talking about a candle in the wind. Well, that's what we are. You know, we're a candle in the wind of life. And Toni Morris is like, won't you be glad when they're all dead, when all Jehovah's enemies are dead? And he was blowing out my candle. He was blowing out the people's candles that are in the hall, the brothers who had left, family members, children. He was.
Aren't you going to be glad when your children are dead?
Yeah, when they're all dead. So this is
the
when
ones
it's
who are rebellious
bordering
against Jehovah.
That's right. And so I don't know. I mean, the other ones have that subtle threat, but I think the witnesses have the major threat of the second death. You imagine being told you're never going to be resurrected. You imagine you being told you had the truth and you left it. Now you've grieved the Holy Spirit and there's no more forgiveness for you. Can you imagine? Those were things we were programmed with. Outside are the apostates, the dogs, where the crushing of their teeth and the gnashing of their head will be under Jehovah's feet. Second death. I mean, all this stuff.
It's worse because you guys talk about how that you're going to be in Satan's domain when you leave, and that, you know,
pigs returning to the mire.
It's worse.
It's worse than that.
In my church, though, in Worldwide Church of God, if you are baptized, if you're a baptized member and you leave, then you are going to be in the lake of fire. And you are shunned, cut out, cut off, excommunicated, and that's the end of you. If people see you at the market or anywhere, you're not allowed to even look at you, not talk to you, just look away and have nothing to do with you. It's pretty intense. So that one's very similar.
That's right. And so that's what we have to undo once we get indoctrinated. So we want to be slow about the indoctrination. You know, now that we're out, let's tell others to be slow about, you know, where they're going with their next ideal. You know what I mean? If they're running into this religion or running into that, tell them, okay, take it easy. Just take it easy. Take your time. And because it's very hard, as you know, to get out. Like you said, we've got to unprogram somehow this governing body that Jehovah's given us our spiritual food. We've got to unplug from all the death threats that we've had. And, you know, if you leave, you're going to lose it. We've got to... And the other thing in the witnesses, I got to say, there's one more element.
Yeah, what?
The next element is your family. Who wants to lose their family?
Oh, right.
I mean, once you're baptized, that's it. I mean, if you decide to leave, you don't walk away. Witnesses will strip you down of everything they've given you and more when you come in. So when you walk away from the witnesses, you walk away with nothing, man. We're cutting the tube. You're not going to be fed by us. We're cutting the friends. We're cutting your family. And we're going to bastardize your name.
And worse than that, though, Dan, because, okay, so you've been taught that everybody in the world are of Satan. And so you're deathly afraid to go hang out with them. You have not been used to eating with the world, having them over for dinner, going to dinner with them. You just meet with your own. So suddenly you can't go there. So you have no other choice if you want to be in any kind of community whatsoever but to go out into the world and be with the worldly, ungodly, going to be not in paradise, killed any day, and oh my God, I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to go with them. Oh my God. And it just this fear. You can't even be comfortable. You can't even think about being comfortable because it's training and programming in your head that you're a dog returning to the mire and all these horrible things that, you know, you've done by being put out. And obviously, most of the time, not even justified. It's only because of their fear that you are put out, because they don't want you to mess up their followers, and their income. They're people that go door to door. They're people that serve them as slaves. They don't want to lose their slaves, and so if you are a rebellious slave, you're going to mess these ones up and turn them against the governing body. So they've got to get you hushed out and out. See, so it's their problem. It's their fear. But now they put this horrible, worse fear on you that they brainwashed you to believe that you're going to be now in Satan's world, that there's nothing good out there and you are in deep doo-doo. And it's really their fear that put that there. And, you know, our job, me and Dan, we feel, is to try to unhook you. So when you get hooked in something, it starts out slow. So we're showing you the little hooks that have come along the way, and you have to analyze each and every one of these hooks. Like, why do I believe that absolutely God's name is Jehovah and no only Jehovah? And why, you know, each of the things that you feel that we're the only ones who did that. You've got to really, really look at it, which is what God helped Dan to do with this wonderful lady. And everything, we're going to try to help you unhook all these things.
We'll do that in another video.
That you feel is keeping you from being free, that keep you from feeling like that I can't.
Getting the hooks out.
I can't find friends in the world because we have to be the only ones. You're so hooked. You're so set there. And you have to have help by prayer. Seriously, prayer and digging and searching on your own to be convinced. And I was fearful to death of letting go of the holy day, Sabbath, Friday night to Saturday night. And it took me a lot of years, I think about 14, to finally be free of that guilt and shame that was put on me if I didn't keep that just right. And it would come and go, but you know how it is. You spring back for a while, and then you're back out again, and then you spring back, and you have trouble. And there's these certain hooks we're going to help you later on to get free of. So do you believe we're at 30 minutes? Oh my gosh.
Because when you get out, like I said, you can be out physically, but a lot of times we're not out mentally.
Right.
And, unfortunately, not a lot of people make this transition. As you know, we know somebody just died. I won't have to go into all the names and all that, but you saw the videos and that I've been putting out. But, there's people that couldn't make the transition out of all this brainwashing. So we want to be careful, not to get into it again. And I'm not saying you don't ever trust anybody again, but I'm saying you have, I'll consider that. That's a good attitude. I'll consider that. And, I don't know everything right now. I know I've been wrong for 40 years, but I don't really want to go on being wrong, so I'll consider that. And so you become more of an observer. You become more of a person who will weigh things out, a little more slow to acting. And if you do that, we're gonna come through life really good. And that other thing I talked about, the victim, if we're a couple of years in and we really don't have anything good to say about our life, if it's just all the bad, that would be kind of an indication that we're on that victim path. You know what I mean? If it's just always bad, I'm on drugs, and I can't stop drinking, and I can't, the witnesses destroyed me. And this is years now going by. If you don't have anything good to say, well, I'm glad I'm out because, I took this turn here and I did this, and man, some good things happened. Thank God I'm out. If we're not starting to build up some of the good along with where we've been, if this doesn't start to outweigh, if this victim thing starts to outweigh, the things in our life, our accomplishments and getting free and getting lighter and getting hopeful and all that again, then we're probably moving into the victim. And like I said, that's very, very destructive. And that's probably one of the toughest archetypes to break. And we got to want to break it. We got to want to say, I don't want to be a victim. And I don't want to go into any more on it because that's quite a bit.
But maybe go to 12-step groups. When you realize that other people are going through what you're going through, it tends to help break that down. And of course, through prayer. Prayer is really important.
Yes, that's it. So anyway, guys, we want to thank you for listening in, and we want you also to feel free to do what you want with this video, to repost it anywhere you want. It's yours. It's on YouTube, and put it out there. Subscribe. Tell people about it. If you think it will help somebody, send it out to them. If you know somebody who's kind of going down that victim road, if you know somebody who's just wanting the answers, maybe have them listen to it just for a perspective, just so they can think about a bigger picture, a little bit bigger picture. I so wish I would have took a college class on world religions, because then maybe I would have been able to stand back and say, oh, that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses believe. Oh, that's what they believe. Oh, wow, they all have a little bit different belief. But I didn't have that privilege.
You know what, Dan? I took World's Great Religions in high school.
Did
and you know what? Guess what? They didn't go over any of the mainstream churches.
Oh, wow.
No. It was Hindu, the Tao. We learned the Tao and Taoism, just all these religions.
Didn't really cover it.
None of the Christian religions. No.
Gotcha.
No.
It would be so cool if there was that, where
you didn't miss
we
it.
could see like the big picture and see they all had this tapestry. But unfortunately, when I was younger, I was ignorant. I wasn't born into a father who was a preacher, had academia and, lots of years of processing the Bible. So when I heard Paradise Earth, well, that sounds good, even though I was born into it. When I heard that, it sounds good. It sounds good to most people, especially with what's going on in the world or the Mormon perspective or whatever. So anyway, guys, we want to thank you for listening to us today. We're glad we could share with you. We look forward to sharing with you. We want to thank all you for all of your comments. All of you are so wonderful. You say the nicest things that I've ever seen, I swear. And I haven't been able to get back to a lot of you. We've traveled the past 21 days. We're getting back, working and doing all that stuff. But we want you to know we appreciate it. It inspires us to keep going. It inspires us to give more messages, and we want to be helpful. And so just please, like I said, do what you want with the video. Share it wherever you want. But let's help some more people.
Amen.
We can speak it, and you guys can share it, and you guys can speak it. And we're all just helping each other with different things. You guys have things I've learned from. I've watched lots of XJW videos, and I've learned so much and appreciate it. So let's just keep it going and keep people out of these cults, keep people out of this mind control. You never were meant to be under mind control. You were never meant to be under men. Put not your trust in nobles nor the sons of earthling men who no
salvation belongs.
No salvation, yet they all say it. He's the prophet. Those are the governing body. That's the Pope. They all say it. Yeah, and the Bible says opposite. Even Jesus said the kingdom of God is within you.
Yes.
It's at hand. And so anyway, don't want to get into all the preaching.
But I hope that you get out there and just love anyway, okay? That is one thing that helped me when I got out of my second cult, is starting to really just serve every way that I could figure out to serve and love. Like I went to a nursing home and did some service there. And I took my dog for a walk and just try to find some kindness to do in any given day. Just anything you could figure out. It makes your heart lift a little bit, and it gives you some, I guess you'd say endorphins or melatonin. I don't know what in your body. It lifts you. Getting in the green of the parks really helped me a lot. Get by a stream of water. Take your dog for a walk. Just get by the water. Listen to that rushing sound. But being of service really helped me tremendously a lot. Getting in service, going to 12-step groups, because you find other people who are worse off than you, and you literally have something to pray about when you get home, or even just give them a hug, because you're not supposed to talk to them about what they share.
Make some friends.
Make friends.
Go out to eat with people.
Just trust us to do this, okay? Even though you feel like that's the world that are evil, no, you'll find out that's not true.
Some very, very wonderful,
good people,
loving, good people out there.
Yes, and you want to serve when
that
you
aren't
serve,
trying to sell you their religion.
Nope, they are just maybe they just need they're worse than you, and you want to uplift them by just giving them a hug, because you understand. That is so touching. And just have a dog to take care of that loves you for no reason other than that you're a person.
Good idea.
Dogs are very, very helpful. It saved my life. I really do feel my little miniature dachshund really helped me. So anyway, that's just some helps.
Yep, and good point. And one of the ladies who helped me the most had no religion. She wouldn't even tell me any religion. She would never try to tell me a religion. That's why I could trust her.
She wouldn't tell him.
She wouldn't tell me, and I could trust her, because she's like, hey, it ain't all about that. It ain't all about I'm a this and wearing a badge and saying I'm a this or that. It's really who you are as a person. I don't even care what people believe anymore. You can tell me you believe whatever. You can tell me you're the best Christian. You can tell me you're this and show me your Bible. I don't care. I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at your heart. I'm going to look, do you love me? For me, and that sort of thing. That's what will resonate with my soul.
My therapist was a really cool person. She was in a different cult that literally she got out with her husband, and then after some time realized, oh my gosh.
Moonies?
No, I forgot now the name of it, something not really familiar, but she literally had to go back with convincing the police exactly how this had to be done to get her children out of there. It was some crazy amount of time, like 2 years before they were able to actually go in there and get them, because it was a community raise the children kind of a craziness. But she had gotten all the tools, and she had all the perfect books that I needed to read, and she validated me. She was, and again, in my way of looking at it, a worldly person, but she helped me a lot. I had to overlook what I didn't think in my way of looking at things was the right way to live or be, but she was perfect for me. And it was a worldly person that God, what my way of looking at it at that time, worldly person. But she was the perfect person. So trust where you're led. Yeah. Trust where God sends you.
Follow the love. Follow the love.
And just be guided. Ask for the guidance. Ask that you be guided.
Ask and you'll be guided. Will be guided. Ask and you'll be shown. It's true.
It's true. And even if it seems odd, like I've had the weirdest angels in my life ever. And later on I realized, oh my gosh, the Lord put that person in my life that was an angel in disguise as this crazy person or whatever. They've all been very different, not what you would expect. They can't let themselves be known, so they have to be like a regular person. You don't know who's God's going to send for your asking. So anyway, for whatever that's worth, trust where you're being guided. If you ask for the guidance, you will be guided. So just ask and you will get it. So,
all right, guys.
All right, we love you.
Thank you
Mwah.
again. We love you guys. Thank you.
Blessings.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.